Welcome everyone, Joe with ECRM here at our beauty sessions in Dallas. And with me is Karen from Vertex, who's had a lot of success with our ECRM sessions. We're gonna dig into some of those successes and some of the best practices that led to those successes as well. So thanks for joining us, and to start off, give everybody an overview of Vertex and some of the types of products that you have.
Oh, well, but first of all, thank you, Joe, for this opportunity. Awesome working with ECRM and attending these ECRM events. So we are Vertex. The company is owned by myself, Karen, and Alexis, my wife. Family-owned, run, and family business based in Texas. And we make high-quality makeup tools and men's and women's facial grooming products. We've been around for about a decade or more, selling on Amazon.com in 5 different countries around the world, as well as Walmart.com. And within the last 2 years, because of some of the huge success coming out of ECRM, we're now entering the realm of retail stores, and it's just been phenomenal.
So that's a big whirlwind change for you, right?
Oh man, for sure, definitely. Being online, you control everything. You control your pricing, you control your placement within a category where it is. Where online, when you go into retail, you kind of lose that, right? You now are depending on the buyer to place you somewhere, and yeah, it's different ball game, different pricing, different everything.
Actually, that's a really interesting point, making that shift from e-com and then adding the brick and mortar stores to that, because you have other layers in between.
For sure. I mean, it's a different mode of our business model. So it's not online where you ship, you direct to consumer. This is, you now depend on the retailer to give you that presence in store.
So there's a lot of support and things that you have to do around that as well.
Oh yes, correct. And as a brand owner, we have to focus a lot on our store presence now in terms of what we need to improve, what we need to do to ensure that the retailer is also happy as well.
Gotcha. So, and you've been coming to ECRM for a little bit, and you've had a lot of successes with it. Can you talk a little bit about some of those successes?
Sure, man. We're so excited. March of this year, we are launched into 2,000 CVS stores across the nation. That was huge for us for our men's grooming razors. That has been amazing. We landed a deal for 150 Red Apple stores across all of the provinces in Canada. So we now have a Canadian retail presence. We are in Mayor, 392 stores is, I think, what's their count right now. And that's across the entire Midwest. And we just sealed the deal about a month ago with PriceSmart for 52 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. So we're super excited about that, really proud about that.
That's so awesome. And now those are all from meetings that originated
from
wow.
ECRM. And this is the thing, Joe, like I've hit the ground running, trying to meet buyers, trying to use different avenues. We have had so much success with ECRM in terms of getting in front of that buyer. Yes, it's 10 minutes that you have in front of them, but you're talking to the right person when you have that 10 minutes. So it counts. That 10 minute matters a lot. And we believe in ECRM. This is our 5th time that we're doing it with you guys, and it's awesome. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, I want to get into a little bit about like how you do your meetings and the process and the experience, in the follow-up section of it. But before we dive into that, right, you have all of these new wins, all of these new POs. How are you financing them?
Yeah, so, in everything in business, there's always hurdles, and this is one of the hurdles. As a small business, as an emerging brand, you're stepping into the realm of now becoming a big business, and we are family operated, self-funded. So getting that financing is, it's a hurdle, but in everything, it's business. And as an entrepreneur, you have to just start thinking outside the box, not necessarily your traditional terms of financing of what you used to do. So, lines of credit, different financial models or, tools that the banks, or sometimes not the banks, external financing companies may offer to you. That's how we're stepping into that realm and reaching out to different parties to start doing those things.
Gotcha. So you right now you're in an exploratory phase. So
Correct.
You're open to different options.
Correct. Yeah. And within the margins of your product that you sell, you have to consider what your interest rates are to be able to be profitable, right? So yeah, different things that we're looking into right now.
Gotcha. Lots to take into consideration
right.
with that. So the meetings themselves, right? We'll start with the meetings, then we'll get into the follow-up part. The meetings, what's your approach to the meetings in terms of, how do you prep for them? How do you actually execute the meeting itself when you're sitting? How much time do you dedicate to pitching versus discussion and all that?
Yeah, so preparation is key. You definitely have to prepare. Our entire setting that we have on our table, we build it out at home or at our offices, and we make sure how it looks, how if somebody's sitting at a different angle, how it sees to them when they're walking into the room, how we put our signs up, our displays. So, and definitely your approach to that 10 minutes and preparation. I've printed it out, written it down, made notes to it, gone over it myself, and how you giving yourselves that, I've timed it, 3-minute intro to the buyer. You have 10 minutes, right? There's no time for small talk, right, with the buyer. And the buyers, they respect it and they understand it. They've been doing this with ECRM for such a long time that, the niceties, yes, it's great, but they understand you only have 10 minutes. So you have to get to the point. We dive right into it. We get to the point, introduce ourselves, talk about some of the wins that we are doing online. We give that buyer, we try to show that buyer the product proven performance as to what's selling and how that then tells them. One of the big reasons we've been in business for more than a decade, but we only just started doing retail, is because we wanted to show up with something to say. So we made an online presence. When we show up to them, we're saying, hey, we have 60,000 plus reviews for this thing. Amazon choice, Walmart popular pick, 5-star reviews, 4.0 and plus ratings. So trying to make sure to give the buyer the confidence as to why they should consider this product and how is this different on their shelf. We have a few patents for some of our products. Alexis, my wife, has designed an amazing eyeliner stencil. Allows women to put eyeliner on in less than 10 seconds. So that's a huge winner for us, big seller. So it's just about being different and bringing that and showing that to the buyer at the meeting.
That's great. And what about discussion, right? You said it sounds like you've allocated a certain amount of time within that 10 minutes carefully. Yes. How much do you leave for discussion?
So we leave at the end probably 5 minutes, as much as half of the time for the buyer, because we want to give that buyer enough time to ask as much questions, right? And how can we work with them? If you just continue about the products and the products and the products, you're not giving them enough time to ask questions.
Yep.
So sometimes you might want to change a product a certain way because the buyer has a certain requirement. So you won't know that until you give the buyer a chance to talk. So yeah, giving them 5 minutes or more is important.
That's awesome advice. I mean, it's so important. And I think you touched on such a good point. Sure, 10 minutes, it might sound like a short amount of time, but it is really a lot of time. And if you do it carefully and you practice in advance, you get your pitch down, leave that time for discussion. But the brands that have the most success from what I've seen are the ones that a lot of time for discussion. Because
yes.
For exactly the reason you said, you may have to adapt to
That's
that
right.
particular buyer. It's not like online where you're just throwing it up there. You got to work with the buyer and what works for them, what works for their audience.
Correct.
So that is extremely important for them. So you've had a few wins. Time-wise, right? If we made a timeline, can you give us an example of two extremes? Like what took the longest from the meeting at ECRM to getting on the shelf, and what was the quickest from your meeting to the shelf, and kind of what goes on during those time frames?
Right, so patience is key, man. Patience is key, and you have to have respect for these buyers. They're very busy, they're traveling. Your product is not the only product that they're looking at. Some buyers are buying from multiple categories as well too. So you have to have some patience. I mean, there's one retailer, we worked with this retailer or started talking to this retailer for 3 years before we got on shelf, right? And then, we seal the deal at the ECRM meetings, right? We were talking to them, we were meeting, we were emailing back and forth. And then we met them here at ECRM and we're like, hey, do you remember, this is us. We were chatting via email, like, oh yeah. And then, man, three years is the longest thus far. And then 6 months, again, ECRM, we showed up, we had the meeting at ECRM. The buyer's like, hey, we like this, we love the product. Yes, we showed them the product performance. They said, okay, yeah, we think this will work well with their demographic. And in 6 months, we were on shelf. So yeah.
That's amazing. And because, a lot can change during that time. During that 3 years, maybe they just finished a review and just put a new line of competitive products in. They're not going to take it off right away. So that's going to extend the time before they can add you in.
That's right. So that's something that for me, that I have learned throughout this process. You don't know what's going on shelf. Like you don't know what's in the buyer's mind, what's the entire category, what their intent is for that category. So they may have to wait a year or two just to roll out some of the products that they have on shelf. So that's what you have to understand as a seller trying to get in. Okay, what's happening within the category that for you to give yourself that expectation of when there could be a potential opportunity for you.
Yeah, and then you have things that are out of your control. The buyer may switch desks, may leave the company.
Yes.
And then you have the market. Maybe their market is not right for your product right now, but then a couple of years down the road, trends change, things change.
Correct.
Boom, and it's the right fit.
Yes.
And then so it's good to also have some smaller coals in the fire, like independent retailers that can put you on the shelf quicker, get a few of those feathers in your cap while you're waiting for the longer ones.
Of course, and that helps because they want to see you on shelf before they bring you on. Some of the big guys, 50 people. I mean, we're open to working with stores of 30 plus, lower MOQs. It's just a matter of getting yourself present on other shelves, showing this buyer who you really want to get onto that this product is working somewhere, right? And that's huge for them. They want to see that.
Yep. And I think the other thing that I've literally seen you do at these sessions, because I saw it last year too, is that you're everywhere. You participate in things. You go to our educational sessions, you go to the cocktails, the lunch, the dinner, you're mixing it in with people. And because of that, serendipitous things happen. And I saw an example of it this morning when we had Walmart presenting, and one of those things happened. You don't have to get into details, but talk about how that unfolded.
Well, to start with, I mean, I have to give kudos to you guys, to ECRM. Your presenters, who you have present at these meetings are awesome. Like you're able to get the people that we need to talk to, and you guys have showed up. You've value for money. You're getting what you pay for. So that's been awesome. And then as an individual, you have to show up. You have to make yourself present. Don't come there. ECRM has spent time and money to have an event for you, to bring people for you to meet. So show up. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to have a cocktail with or a chat with, and it could turn into something. And just regarding that meeting this morning, it was me coming downstairs, going to this meeting that you guys had, and it was just so amazing what came out of it, and an experience. I'm there sitting like, how do I try to get to chat with this person? And it just ended up flowing, and getting the opportunity to meet a senior vice president of a specific category, like that doesn't happen, right? You can't just pick up the phone, you can't just send an email, right? So if you are not present within what ECRM is providing for us, then how are you going to meet these people, right? You have to show up. So that was an amazing experience, got that opportunity, and it's been great.
So you never know who you're going to bump into, like you said. And it's not just buyers too. I mean, you can run into another supplier where you may be able to help each other out, or at least trade information, best practices, or they may work with a buyer that you're interested in working with, and there's a lot of other things that are important to know. It's like, well, what is this buyer like as a person? What do they respond to? Do they want numbers? Do they want slides? Do they want conversation? Do they joke around? It's like good to know about the people too.
So it's awesome on getting to know the buyers as well too. But what I have have had great success with is actually talking to other sellers and seeing what's working for them. Sometimes for us, we helping others, giving them advice as well, or showing what's working for us. Just this specific program, we've had multiple conversations where our brand is scaling. And we're trying to do more social media influencer stuff and having conversations with other brands to see what's working, how are they going about doing this. Maybe we could learn a thing or two from what others are doing, and that has been huge as well. Yes, getting to know the buyers at the outside events is awesome, but actually getting to know your peers, getting to know other people within the category that you are in. You're not asking somebody that's selling furniture what's working for them. You're asking somebody that's in the beauty space, the same space you're in. So if it's working for them, it has to work for you at some point, so that's been awesome.
Great point. Well, so listen, we covered a lot, right? So it's everybody keep in mind, patience, perseverance, be everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can learn from everybody. So try and just soak in information that you can from everybody, buyers, industry experts, your peers. And we make them all available here. They're all in one spot. And you've definitely taken advantage of it and are really doing a great job. So, well, congratulations on your success, and I know you're going to have a lot more going forward.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you, and thank you to ECRM. Great opportunities that you guys are offering to us, the sellers.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.